Ladies and gentlemen, how are you doing on this wonderful Sunday? I am your planetary defense commander, Star-Lord Nuthor 7, and I'm the guy who's got to give you bad news. And well, the news isn't bad, it's just dangerous if you're not properly prepared for it. And unfortunately, I have to say, we're getting a pretty large volcano signal near the Caribbean. I've been watching the Caribbean for about 3 months, and we did get 2 separate volcanoes in the Caribbean steaming at the end of December. And then by the Guatemala and Mexico volcanoes that have been going off nonstop for about a year, we're getting a volcano signal over there. And the last time I gave a volcano signal over here, both Popocatépetl and Fuego volcano erupted hours after. So that is something we need to take seriously. Now, I don't know if you know this, but all the weather on our planet is generated from the sun. If there was no sun, we would have no weather. So, sometimes science can stick its head up its butt. And it seems like it's done that with the weather and climate. Because science is like, hey, the only thing that affects weather and climate is carbon. Which is insane because the sun is changing, and that means Earth weather is changing. And that means our magnetic pole is moving at a pretty fast rate. And so the atmosphere is a dynamic process. And so we've been going through what some people are calling a grand solar minimum, but the sun has woken up a little because we had 2 pretty big active sunspots. One had a class C or D solar flare, but it is not Earth directed. But as you can see, it is active and the filaments, they are kicking. So as above the sun, so below the Earth. And shit is crazy all over the planet. The big action nonstop has been happening near the Alaskan volcanoes and the Russian volcanoes. Now, the high pressure area I was talking about is rebuilding over here. So that's going to push more of the precipitation north. The sun is still... Play for me, baby. There you go. You can do it. What, you have performance anxiety? But as you can see, there are days when the sun gets active, and today is one of those days. I saw a full solar halo over my head a couple days ago. I got it on video. I'll grab it for you sometime. But as I'm saying, whatever's going on out here, it's not heavily populated, so it doesn't get a lot of the media action. But whatever it is, whatever's going on out there has been nonstop fascinating all day, all night. And lucky for the West Coast, it's been migrating north up into Alaska. But that is a pretty hardcore pressure system. That time looks like exoplanets. And then we'll be getting, as the sunspots pass us, we will be then in a geoeffective range of the coronal hole, which will send us more fast solar wind. We've been getting hit with fast solar wind, like nonstop all year almost. But most people are like, hey man, I want to hear about that big super duper freeze, the dinosaur freeze coming. And well, we're getting to it. I just wanted to cover all our bases. Florida's been getting hammered pretty hard all day today with some heavy rain. Like, they've been covered all day. You haven't been able to see Florida under that thing. As you can see, that's a pretty nasty rain band headed all the way up into Europe. They're getting some nasty weather too. And then we got this weird giant gyrating thing that looks like a hurricane, but it's not a hurricane, but it still needs to bear notice. So look at that giant storm I was talking about. I don't know where it's going. We'll continue to watch it, but that thing is massive. And definitely, most of us agree, the weather is going to be weird through the first week of February. So be prepared. And especially if you're going to be in this cold snap that everybody's talking about. This is Wednesday. It really kicks in. I'll let it run. So this is right now. And then, and the big question on the cold snap is, how far down will it go? But this either is or isn't a direct ramification of the sudden stratospheric warming, which then causes more cold. But look at, on Wednesday, it has it going pretty far down to the tip of like Illinois. And then it stays frozen. And then here, that's probably our next storm moving through. But yeah, it almost goes down into Florida. So it's going to be a pretty nasty cold week. I've seen some guesstimates at, and look at the heat down here, anywhere as low as negative 50 degrees, negative 60 wind chill. We'll have to stay tuned to see what it actually is. But like I said, it looks pretty potent. Like those are regular temperatures. And so it almost looks like a hand. Yeah, if you're going to be in this stuff, you need to be prepared just in case of a power outage or really bad roads, because we are getting clippers that are moving through again and again that are leaving some type of mixed precipitation. Here's our outlook. Let's go back to the boom, because like, even though it's not getting a lot of the press, it's still a good amount of moisture. And if these two would have hooked up, that'd have been nasty, but they didn't. So this will continue to grow and drop a tail as we watch to see how far down the cold snap goes. And then there's another one behind it. And then there's a lot of snow and precipitation as our heavy winter storm pattern has just started. So yeah, all things seem unstable all over. Doesn't matter what subject it is, everything seems kind of unstable. And Cranky Weather Guy, who I always recommend for his daily blogs. He's the king of weather Twitter and one of the smartest weather guys out there. Him and I disagree on this, not the storm, but the fact that he says it's not a polar vortex. It's the thing driving. The polar vortex is driving cold snap, but it's not the actual polar vortex itself. But that seems one of those semantical debates, and I hope our friendship will survive on disagreeing whether it's okay to call it a polar vortex or not. I think it will, because like it's a buddy picture, man. You got to be able to disagree. But other people have disagreed with his string of where he doesn't think it's a polar vortex. So on Twitter, you get a lot of shit no matter what. And here he is talking about our rather repetitive East Atlantic scenario unfolding yet again. But monthly, we've seen this going back as long as I can remember. Yep, that's that atmospheric river I've been talking about for 2 years now that continues to replace itself. And then there's a weird low in the middle. Let me get a better picture of it here. Watch that thing just spin, baby. What are you doing? It's heading one way and then that's heading the other. I'm not worried about this hitting the coast, but it's just weird to watch that with the volcano signal. There's so much going on right now. All right. So, where are we at? And then Mark Baden. I think we are all going to be talking about this upcoming week of weather for the rest of our lives. I don't know about that, man. But yeah, it is definitely a super dangerous weekend. And at the same time, Australia's been having super record heat, breaking records all over the board. I just thought it was interesting. This is the wind field. I got off windy. And so that's the windstorm that I've been monitoring in the Atlantic. That's Australia. They're like the same size and shape almost. Isn't that crazy? Crazy. John Homnuck, the NWS Twin Cities, is forecasting an apparent temperature, that's raw temperature, of negative 47 at 6 a.m. next Wednesday, which in addition to being absolutely insane, is also close to a record. Forecast lows are lower than the 13-14 polar vortex event. So yeah, we're going to keep watching. The models have been changing, but this is definitely a nasty cold snap. And there was some race today, and apparently they tried to race really fast cars in the rain, and they ended up looking like kids playing with Matchbox cars. Don't you guys have a meteorologist? Our developing January 29th and 30th system. Please read his blog entry for that, and check out some AM tweets of adjustment, because he breaks it all down in real scientific ways. The lobe of cold air that will be responsible for brutal conditions, deadly conditions, dangerous conditions across the Midwest is currently residing just north of the Atlantic Circle border and will soon take a nosedive towards the Midwest. get ready. Are you ready for it? So, yep. So it's a matter of like there's cold snap 1, and then here comes cold snap 2, and it's a matter of how far south does that cold snap go. Only time will tell, but I will keep you updated on the changes. Thinking of all my friends in the Midwest, calling it a polar vortex. The storm approaches Milwaukee, a big blue monster. One of the people commented that they're in Chicago, and yeah, their weather's been pretty nasty. The roads are nasty. Like Ventrice just watched the Game of Thrones series for the 3rd time, and that is my favorite series of all time. I highly recommend Game of Thrones if you've never seen it. Now that winter is here, this is my attempt of what a satellite image might look like in Season 7. Note the polar vortex setting up across the narrow sea. Looking forward to the remaining episodes this April. I don't understand that, actually. Okay, Bill Cairns, it's going to be one of those weeks. Anybody care to guess where the center of the polar vortex is going to peak? Nah, I'll let you guys guess. The polar vortex is situated over Greenland on Wednesday morning. The Siberia coast's upper level low, cold snap number 2, is situated over the Great Lakes on Wednesday morning. If you're calling it the polar vortex, you've invalidated yourself as a meteorologist. Well, that's fine. I'm not a weather guy. I'm not a meteorologist. I'm your planetary defense commander. It's totally different. I don't care about snow totals. I care about saving lives and getting people to work together as one Earth family to build a new infrastructure in safe places. To stop letting the media divide and conquer you along race, religion, creed, sexuality. Whether or not Candy Corn is good or Die Hard is a Christmas movie, we all need to come together because as the magnetic pole shifts, we're going to be getting a lot of strange new weather in places we don't expect it. So yeah, Chicago's in the crosshairs, and some records will probably be broken as the lowest ever. Ian Livingston from Team Jet Weirding. Euro snow is fun, but I feel faint tingles. I don't even know what that means, man. And I wasn't talking to Ian on that one. All right, and red alert, Florida. That system looks like a Loch Ness monster. And so, what are we at? Okay. And 319 years ago today, in the year 1700, a giant 9.0 earthquake hit our coast and a huge tsunami followed. Traveling as far as Japan. That is the west coast. So that is interesting. And, see, Cranky, I'm going to leave it to you knuckleheads to it. Revisionist history at all. And I bet I'm going to track this date, because I didn't know. I'm going to track the date back to the year 1700. Because my theory, which seems more and more accurate every day, is that we get the big earthquakes and all the volcano activity when all the gas giants are on the same side of the sun. It's called planetary angular orbital momentum. And it's what is assisting with the changes in the sun and the planet. See how you got the sun right here. So there's Jupiter, and then there's Uranus. And so all the gas giants are on this side of the sun. And so we're right out here in the corner. And so we're going to be seeing wild weather for about another 6 years, at least minimum. So I bet in the next video I'll trace that date back, and I bet all the gas giants will be on the same side. Here's our current snow cover. It's going to be added to the totals, and then it's just going to totally freeze after. And this is our jet stream. What are you doing? You're not supposed to be making an H. You're a river. A river naturally makes an H. All right. So like I said, worried about that. That's about as bad as I've seen it, and it's fast moving. I think that's magma movements. We shall see. And now we're looking at, what are we looking at here? Now we're just looking at the jet stream. We got 15 minutes in. How you guys doing? Yeah, so the moisture goes around the high pressure zones whenever the hot spots pulse. And so yeah, things are wild. So be sure and be prepared. Wow, look at that. Yeah, all the oceans are going crazy. It's like the new Cali cane, except it's going into Alaska. Things are definitely wild. Things are weird and changing. So why don't we as humanity change? We can do it. Don't let your TV and your smartphone tell you can't. You can. I believe in you. All right, now we're going to watch the models. It looks like California's going to be getting back in on the action to start February. And this is, yeah, the rain band size are so big now, I don't even talk about it that much because it becomes so, what is that? It's like giving a little spinning hurricane. You don't even know which way you're going, do you, buddy? You're not supposed to be going that way. See, look at that. What are you, drunk? You loitering? Man, that's crazy. These are crazy days indeed. Did you think this is what the future was going to look like? And then some of the models have been showing a lot of heavy precipitation. Whoa, that could be a major nasty storm going over Florida. And then it's just going to be wave after wave after wave, followed by cold after cold after cold. Storm, cold, storm freeze, storm freeze, storm freeze. That's how it's going to go, I think. So yeah, we're next 2 weeks going to continue to be stormy. Now look at how those two some of the storms are becoming so close together. It's crazy. And ladies and gentlemen, I'm crazy. You want to know how crazy I am? I know, like 3 years ago, I was like, well, I've been doing this full time. Yes, since 2015. And the thing was, I said, well, as long as you guys send me money and pay all my bills, I will continue to do this full time, nonstop. And so for 3 years, it's been working out like that. And so this is one of those occasions where I need to get my car towed away from a spot it's not supposed to be because it died. I think it's the alternator. I don't know, though. I'm going to have a mechanic look at it near my house. But I still need $30 to get it towed because 3 people have sent in donations. Thank you very much. And then my, my AT&T internet bill is $63. That is in 2 days. So now would be a perfect, fantastic, never been better time to send in contributions and donations for all this super fantastic work I've done over the last month, last 6 years, today, and we'll be doing for the rest of the month and into next month. Crazy days indeed. And keep on the lookout for this video I've spent so much time on. It's kind of based on the Doom clock, but I'm just talking about the doomy stuff. I don't know why Doom can be kind of fun and funny. I'm weird. Okay, everybody stay cool. I love you. God bless everyone. Leave my PayPal link in the information box. So I would really like to get my car back. I'd hate to lose my car's over $100. Did you know it died on me twice while I was driving? The first time I was on a major highway. How did I survive that? I don't know. I'm really lucky. I guess. Comes from clean living. You know, except for the cussing and smoking and drinking. It would be lady kissing, but man, women just aren't attracted to funny, handsome guys anymore, I guess. All right, stay cool. If you can.